"We will go to my mother's," Notvar was saying to me, "but you should not come. Here's some money. Go see a movie or something." It was Sunday, the day we almost always went to his mother's for lunch. The old Greek woman in traditional black who couldn't speak English, inviting us into her 2-room cottage in the scrubby Athens countryside. The huge meal she cooked us every week, refusing to let us clean up afterwards. But now Notvar was saying I shouldn't go. I should not be part of what everyone else was doing. I was a little relieved because I didn't know what to do now. The usual momentum had been broken by the fight, and everything lay in pieces now, and I wasn't sure where I fit, what was allowed. It had been at breakfast, and he had shouted at me. All of that was fairly normal, something we all tried hard to avoid, tried hard not to make him angry, but I had made him angry this morning, all of us sitting around the white marble table, each of us still in a bathrobe. In bathrobes, because Notvar wanted leisure. "Here, we must make sure we have leisure," he had said when we first came to Greece. And I had thought maybe we had escaped, not just the law, but the incessant hardships of our New York life, living for months amidst sheetrock and buckets of paint, existing without money, the incessant threat of Notvar's fury that tripped up against our faults day after day after day. He hit me in the face that morning. I didn't react, didn't crumple or fight back. That would have made him angrier, given him more ammunition, more proof of my inability to get it right. But even with my acquiescence, the air was poisoned with my wrongness and ugliness, and there was no hiding it. Little Ariadne slipped her hand into her father's and followed him out to the garden. Only she could comfort him when we had so failed. Meredith and Mark cleared the dishes and washed them, laughing softly at the sink in the brooding silence of the apartment, finding relief in each other. I knew Mark looked down on Meredith most of the time. We all did. But he could play with her right now, and she was more than willing to play back, and they seemed so at ease, as if they belonged here, just as I didn't. I sat in the tiny room off the kitchen. I sat on the edge of the bed where I slept at night. I sat frozen. Every movement or word that occurred to me seemed wrong, and so I just waited. And when Notvar came in and spoke to me alone, and said they would go without me, I was relieved, but unbelieving. This had never happened before. Notvar had never given one of us money and told us to go off alone for the afternoon. We were always together. Notvar might leave to go teach a class. He might take Mark, his lover, with him. I might walk to the supermarket every morning, but all these leavings were temporary. I knew I could not wander. My obligation was always here, always with these people. I must have the groceries back for lunch. I must have the living room cleaned in time for Notvar's sessions. My moments were there to fill with duty. I had no right to anything else. And now they were all going for the whole afternoon. I heard the front door close, and minutes later I looked out over the balcony railing. The car was gone. I dressed and went downstairs. Our apartment building was at the end of a gentle, curving lane, lined with trees and houses, hung over with gardens of roses and bougainvillea, flowers I had stolen in the past so that our dinner parties would impress. I began to walk slowly now, with no destination, no timetable of any sort. Every step sweet, delicious. To step with the feeling that the afternoon belonged to me, no one waiting for me anywhere. I didn't let my mind imagine how the day would end, how I would have to return. I walked from one curving, narrow street into the next. There was no traffic, No one else walking, just me.